To-town! Side in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yo, to-town!
No, so that's trash. So that one piece you have there.
Disclaimer, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, good job.
You're clearly...
I submitted Pack the Pack for Cards Against Humanity's Tabletop Deathmatch competition in 2013. It was a competition looking for people who had never published a game before, which I had never done. This is the first game that I've really led. And it was a competition that 500 people entered, and they chose 16 finalists, and Pack Pack was one of the finalists that they chose. I went to Gen Con and pitched it in front of 16 industry insider guests, judges, including the Cards Against Humanity guys, and a bunch of people who have also made some really incredible games.
Maybe there was a little bit of defensive-ness in the pitch of like, did this deserve to be a board game? Is the idea strong? And I actually think it's a strong idea. I mean, whether or not it's a fun part of a video game, you know, this is a, to me, it's a solid promise for a board game.
Until I actually started to put the cards over each other, I really didn't get it. But then once I started to play with it, I really, you know, it comes together.
Yeah,
pretty quick.
I think we know what it's about now, and I think it took us a while to get to what it was about. So that's just a presentation issue.
Pack the Pack is an inventory Tetris, tile-laying, real-time, fast-paced game. I came up with the idea for Pack the Pack because it was a game that I was looking to play in my personal game group. I love inventory Tetris as part of video games and longer games, and I wanted to take that system out and make a game that was purely that, and also a lot of fun and also a little bit cutthroat.
Like that.
Ready, set, pack.
Same colors, it doesn't matter.
The same colors.
You're not paying attention.
The same colors are what get you points. That's what you want to go for.
Can they be upside down?
They can be whatever side. You cannot extend the brown border though.
Yeah.
When I first conceived of Pack the Pack, it was actually pulling apart a Blockus game and using multi-shaped Blockus tiles. And I thought I wanted a lot of different shaped tiles, and it would play almost like Blockus plays. And then I found that there were games like that, so I abandoned that idea and then just let it sit for a while and set it aside and thought this was a game that would never be made. Then I came around to the idea, okay, well, could I make an inventory Tetris game that was actually cards? And it's something that is easy to produce. And went down that route. And that was actually the game that I submitted for the Tabletop Deathmatch. And there are 4 different versions of cards that I went through, and 4 different prototypes that were cards. And each of those versions had white space on different size cards, and you overlaid colored space on cards on top of the white space. So it was all about the idea of trying to fit stuff in a bag by taking, okay, well, the boots, if you rotate the boots this way, then could they fit up against a helmet this way? And so it was the idea of taking a square card and putting it next to a rectangle card, but overlay colored space on top of white space. And so went through 4 different versions of that with different size cards, all the same size cards, trying lots of versions of that. I ended up though with, what if they were all the same size cards, and what if they were all rectangle cards? Specifically 2 inches by 1 inch. That really led somewhere, and as we played through it, looked at it and said, this is the size of dominoes. What if it was just dominoes? And took that version and transferred it onto tiles, i.e. dominoes, and that's where the game is now. So it's not cards, it has a very kinesthetic feel to it. You can actually grab and shove and lay it down on a mat and not have to worry about cards getting scattered all over the place. And it's completely changed the way the game is played. So it's the same exact concept in that it's inventory Tetris, which was where it started, and that idea has carried through all 7 different versions. But the way that it looks is completely different. Before I saw my Tabletop Deathmatch episode, I was convinced that the judges would absolutely hate the game. I went in with the most basic of prototypes, and most of the other competitors and most of the other finalists came in with beautiful, gorgeous prototypes that were very finished with some really nice art. I hand wrote my rules, and I just felt like I was very much at a stage earlier than a lot of the other finalists. So I was convinced that they would just completely rip me apart, and especially because I wasn't able to be in the room for my feedback. So I was able to get the feedback on the episode when I watched it with everybody else when it went live up on the website. However, the feedback that the game got was actually overwhelmingly positive. They really, really responded well to the idea of the game. They really felt like there was a good market for this game and a good space where the game could fit. And I was really, really pleased to hear that. And I think overall they just really responded well to the idea of, wait, inventory Tetris? I thought people hated that. No, really, we all love it. And which is exactly where my heart is too, is it's the idea we all sort of scoff and then say, but really I want to play that. And that's what I'm going for, and I think that's where people are also going to want to play this game. People who understand that idea of inventory Tetris from video games are going to enjoy it, and people who just liked Tetris, and not even just Tetris, but the idea of like gem matching games that are incredibly popular right now, take that and actually play it on a table. I really think that there's a market for it in sort of the nerdy culture, but then also in the just social game culture as well. And I think that that's exactly what they saw, and that's the feedback I got. So I was really excited to hear it.